Xinjiang autonomous Uyghur region and the northern part of the Afghanistan. The reason is very basic. That's also socially constructed. Why? Culturally, language, ethnically, and the long time historically economic relation. Based on that economic relation, you can extend this Central Asia. Some even extending this even the Khorasan region of the eastern part of the Iran. So, but officially, if you're looking at the different international organization definition, that's even the bigger Mongolia, including Mongolia too. But more or less in academia, when they're talking about the Central Asia, mainly talking about those 5 independent states of the today Central Asia. So we define the region. Then when we define the region and believing that that region has a unique characteristic, make the state and the people living in that territory as a Central Asia, part of the Central Asia, then of course we need to talk about the political, social and security issues related to Central Asia too. When we looking at the Central Asia, or newspaper or media, which is and the politicians when they use the Central Asia, mainly they use it in international arena, using Central Asia as a geopolitical place, as in the morning also they emphasize when talking about the Central Asia, there are security challenges, security issues. So Central Asia, like Balkans, like the Caucasus, become a kind of a politically and security defined region. That way, we can say that this region can be served as a case study to checking or applicability of the major mainstream integration theories. So, in that sense, this study is kind of testing the mainstream international relation theories based on the Central Asian security issues and problems. So the paper, that way we can say that this paper aimed to explore how realism, liberalism, and constructivism illuminate the security issues related to Central Asia, and where their explanatory power is not enough. So then we need to develop more narrow, more certain level, more narrow, more multi-layered theoretical explanation to understand the security issues. Okay, I learned from my colleagues when you're presenting anything, first you need to have puzzle. So I try to have the puzzle. So what is our puzzle? Very simple puzzle. Our puzzle is to revolve around the understanding how different theoretical framework of the international relation can explain the security structure and the dynamics of the Central Asia. So then, if this theoretical framework cannot explain, if not those mainstream international relation theories cannot explain which theoretical approach suitable to help us to understand and explain to security dynamics and the security issues of the Central Asia. So I have very simple, very thesis statement, and I have the main research question. Of course, we can have the more question too. My main research question is this. First, Central Asia. First, we defined it as actually. Later, we will talk about the securitization theory. We defined the territory, the people, political structure in that territory. So we can define Central Asia constitutes a regional security complex. Regional security complex, where the security dynamics of the individual state, means that Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, are deeply interconnected each other and influenced by regional and external regional players, and that way creating a set of unique security challenges and security dynamics which we can. So this hypothesis aim to explore. So that's my thesis. I mean my thesis statement. Main question is given the web of the security interdependency of the among the Central Asian states, how does the application of the different research programs of IR enhance or help us to understand of the regional security dynamic in that sense? So I will jump to this research question. This first question is related to realism. How the realists explain the security competition power dynamics among the Central Asian states. Liberals approach, you can know that talking about the more cooperation, more acting together, international influence of international institutions, as well as the economic, how the economy pushing the Central Asian countries dealing with the circuit. And constructivist perspective, of course, they are mentioning about the identity norm principle and how they connect their national interests and how historical narratives in shaping security dynamics of the region. So then some scholars even they're making an eclectic approach, meaning that combining different parts of this mainstream the IR theory to explain the security condition of the Central Asia. So as we see it, there are some limitation of the these theories when we are applying the independent specific security issues. I will kind of synthesize this theoretical framework and use security complex theory, regional security complex theory. This is I'm not the first time doing this one. There are other scholars, a few scholars did too, in Central Asia too. So how this security complex theory provide more comprehensive understanding of the security issues related to Central Asia? We will see. So basically, in this research, I'm using the case studies, choosing the certain case study. These are already some of them mentioned by the Stefan Mayer about the border conflict, terrorism. That is the question mark. Maybe if there is a question, we can more talk about the terrorist activities in Central Asia is not that spread. But we see the Central Asian citizen taking the terrorist act in different parts of the world. That's one happening in Moscow, some is happening in Turkey too. And for military base, mostly American is gone, but the Russians are, we can see. So we will, in this research is this early stage, so it's choosing the certain case studies. This case study is not only related the regional level, but also some of them related in the domestic level, which has the regional level impact. Interview expert opinion. So this is I'm conducting already the interview with the regional security expert, policymaker, and some scholars, not only from Central Asia, but those scholars studying on Central Asia in different countries. Documentary analysis, which is looking the treaties agreement signed between Central Asian countries with the other countries, and the comparative analysis, which is those documents, everything's or research done before me. I'm looking on those research and comparing and contrast their finding too. So this is the methodology using for my research. I will go very quickly, not to talk about the realism. So realism is because of the explanation based on the power, based on the state activities, based on the level of the analysis, using the level of analysis. It's a certain level help us to analyze the power dynamics of Central Asia. they tell us the external actors, especially neighboring major powers like Russia, China's role in regional security. The third is the focusing on the power dynamics, military capabilities, and the strategic interests of the state. Yeah, this is the which we can see the realists have the certain understanding. So that's the power struggle, explaining power struggle among the great powers, strength part. But they are overemphasizing the role of the state actors, ignoring other actors, not looking at the domestic issues and the problem. That's the weakness of the realism. Liberalism, yes, we see the regional, in the regional level, there is a regional organization and institutions emerging in Central Asia, as the early scholars mentioned, not the Central Asia extend to Central Asia, but Central Asian countries included too. That's the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, Collective Security Treaty Organization, and recently, starting from November 2021, we call the Organization of the Turkic State. That's also we can see. Role of the international organization, the economic relation, which these days hot topic is talking about the corridors, transportation corridor, energy corridors, digital corridors, connectivity, and so on. Yes, they highlight the importance of institution, international institutions, and the non-state actors. That's the strength part of the liberalism. But they are overlooked again, local dynamics, and also sometimes the narratives, discourse, which is used by the political elite of the Central Asia too. Constructivism, yes, they're talking about identity politics, collective identity norm, which constructivism's main argument is emphasized by the Alexander Van, is the identity social construct may change. Before, the Central Asian states and the societies were part of the Soviet Union. They were defined themselves the citizen of one of the most superpower in the world. And sometimes meeting my wife, relatives, they emphasize the Soviet's power because of their long time they lived under the Soviet Union. They're proud of that one. Right now they are part of the Kyrgyzstan, and they, of course, still they are seeing Moscow as a center. So identity is important, but that identity also changes. Those people whom I emphasize right now, mainly talking about their national identity, proud of their national identity, and so on. That has impact on the state behavior and so on too. This is very clearly seen in Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan. Uzbekistan last year started, before it started, for example, talking about the Jadid and Jadid movement. Before it was, the prohibited topic, and people condemned in that time. Right now, those people become the hero of the starting of the Uzbek nation. Similar kind of things, Alashorda people in Kazakhstan right now become the main figure when they are talking about the historical narrative that have impact on their policy too. Already in the morning, our esteemed colleague Akota Joldoshova mentioned about the history. You can see when she explained it, that history, you can see this Akota is a pan-Turkish and something like that. You can think. Why? Because of the Kazakhs accepting the whole Turkic narrative, historical
They're Turkistanis.
Yeah, narrative much more than this in Turkey. So constructivists, they explain the role of identity and perception are important part of our security understanding. There is a security problem. For example, German government feel that the Islamic group who are protesting the German position related to Gaza is a radical group, and so on. They are because of their perception, those people who are supporting the Palestine cause, they consider them not the part of the so-called liberal peace order. But in Turkey, to supporting Palestine causes become a common point. All political
Yaşar,
groups and
16
parties.
minutes.
Okay.
Your president.
Thank you. Thank you.
You told us to.
Okay. I will jump to comparative. So, how we can explain this? I mean, which way we need to look at the Central Asia, and which theory? I mean, in the more sometimes theories help us to simplify, generalize the repeated action or repeated action or the behavior. So theories help us to simplify, generalize, and conceptualize the activities for international relations. So then, if this mainstream, general mainstream, cannot fully explain the today's Central Asian security issues, which one we can explain? I try to make a combination between securitization theory and the regional security complex theory. Why? Securitization theory helps us to explore how the issues are transformed into security threat through discourse and political process. So, to talk about security threat and putting on that security threat on the certain political discourse and creating political process to deal with that. So, analyzing how Central Asian government and other actors frame issues like the terrorism, for example, in Kazakhstan, very strictly following the religious activities. Kyrgyzstan, comparing the Kazakhstan, more relaxed. Tablighi Jamaat, for example, in Kazakhstan, prohibited radical organization. Kyrgyzstan, if not changed until recently, is respected. I mean, if not involved in political activities, Tablighi Jamaat is permitted to work in Kyrgyzstan. Even the previous mufti, the religious leader of Kyrgyzstan, from the Tablighi Jamaat, he was himself openly expressed that. So, how they define the terrorism, migration, resource dispute. So we are putting the terrorism, migration, resource, natural resource and other resource dispute, water resources and others, as a security threat. So implication of these securitization process, these areas, to do the security threat is important. So it has also a limitation. Yes, helps us explain how terrorism, migration, resource dispute are the frame and address as security issues, but not explain security dynamics. How we can conceptualization of the certain the activities as a security issues, yes, it's very helpful. Then how we can define it as a security dynamic? Then we need to look at another theory, which regional security complex theory. So this is again Berbuzan and the Olive Wave. They are both. Some of them consider them as a constructivist. Some of them also consider them as the developing securitization theory. But they say that looking at the Central Asian countries, we need to look at the region as altogether. So in that sense, region consists of interconnected security concern, security dynamics, where the security of each state of Central Asia is interlinked with that of its neighbors, forming what is we call the regional security complex. So interconnected security dynamics, regional security complex is important. So first, securitization theory helps us to conceptualize which issues are the security issues. Second, this regional security complex theory helps us to turn that conceptualize the concept as the activities in that sense. Okay. So I will talk about the application, then finish. I hope still I have 3 minutes.
Very, very quickly. Okay.
Timing.
Well,
So
you are
when-
exceeding 20 minutes now.
Okay. Okay. So how we can apply the security complex theory to Central Asia? One, interstate relation, looking at the Central Asian state, have numerous different security interdependence each other, such as shared concern over border security. I mean, the Central Asia in security issues and border security issues, yes, a few security skirmish happened even Soviet time, but this is the more local level. But right now, some of the border issues become a potential to creating regional conflict. Why? Because these regions' borders are not really really socially constructed. The borders are not really representing the society's border. Very quickly, you can see. I mean, Emil from Batken, I define myself from Osh, generally. So you can see the border area. I mean, easily, right now it's become relaxed. In the old days, it was difficult to pass it to Uzbekistan. Right now, very easily you can pass the Uzbek side. You can see that there is no real difference in using the language and other things and cultures and so on. So these borders are not the state border, but not representing the society's division. So that's when the border issue become issue turn the state to state conflict, later even the region. So that's one example. Fergana Valley ethnic and the border dispute. Thanks God, right now Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan solved the problem. Kyrgyzstan and Tajikistan working on the process, more peaceful process, but the recent, the one almost 2 years ago, there was a conflict between Tajik and Kyrgyz. Regional power influence. When in the morning also mentioned about this C5+1. All other countries seeing Central Asia all together, and when you see you this. So the last September 2023, the American president middle, Joe Biden, all Central Asian countries leaders. And you see the European Union and Central Asian countries, China, Central Asia, Japan, and Central Asia countries leaders are together. So that is the regional countries, especially neighboring countries, Russia and China, not seeing each Central Asian differently. Generally, and of course I'm simplifying, but of course Kazakhstan has very special place in Russian strategic thinking. But in Central Asia in general, they constantly all together, and they want to exert their significant influence over Central Asian security. Russian military presence in Tajikistan especially is continued, and Kyrgyzstan too, and Chinese economic initiative creating its own hub in that sense. So applying the security complex theory to Central Asia reveals a complex web of interdependencies, influence where the regional security shape and where the interstate action, regional power politics, and strategic interests of major power playing in the region. So these are I'm not talking, this is 8 different security issues I listed. Regional power politics, political stability and governance, geopolitical rivalry and major power influence, border dispute, regional conflict, terrorism in certain level, extremism, border area, economic security, environmental challenge. Economic security also related to migration. The migration issue is a very important issue. Very important money coming from remittancy coming from the outside Central Asia to Central Asian countries, but also become the social and political issue like what happened in Moscow and sometimes in Turkey too, let me tell you. So these are the 8 different security issues which help you to that. I will not, this is the explanation of that. Let me, okay. So I can simplify it. So this regional security complex theory provide a kind of a framework for understanding multifaceted, multi-dimensional, and multi-layers security problems and issues of the Central Asia. By emphasizing, especially this is part is important, related regional security conflict, interconnectedness of security concern among the Central Asian state and the significant influence of the both regional and external actors, powerful actors. The security context, they will offer more comprehensive lens for us. Okay, let me, of course, I mean, when sometimes students may think, I was as a student, thought, theory, I should find the one theory can explain everything. There is not that kind of theory. For that reason, in social science, we don't have law. We have the theory. Theory is untested yet, untested or unresolved. The opinion, we can say like that, very simplified. So while no single theory fully captures the complexity of the Central Asian security landscape, we need to have the combined approach, allow for more concrete analysis of the security issues. In that sense, not the mainstream of the IAC theory, but this regional security context plus securitization of the concepts, which security concepts, which mainly we are using for Central Asia, help us to understand the much better way. Thank you for listening, and if you have any questions, maybe we can do at the end of all together, we can more deeply talk about